Thank you so much. And thank you to RMC. My name is Beth Ann Langrel. I'm the CEO and president of For All Seasons. And we are the behavioral health and only rape crisis center serving the 5 counties of the Mid-Shore. I also have the pleasure of serving on the Maryland Women's Commission and serving as a board member for the Maryland Legislative Agenda for Women, and as the president of the board of directors for the Maryland Coalition Against Sexual Assault. The work that our agency does on the Eastern Shore meets the needs of the crisis that we continue to hear about. Our agency serves outpatient mental health, psychiatry, and victim services on a daily basis. I can tell you, as someone who's been in this position for 9 years, never did we imagine that our agency would be where we are today and serving the volume of people. We saw a 17% increase in folks that came through our doors in the pandemic, and we are continuing to see an increase in the services for our men, women, and children. We saw 1,500 new clients from March 1st until June 30th of this past year. That's 1,500 family members, that's moms and dads who are struggling. It's children who are trying to figure out how to come into the new normal of not being able to walk into a school and see their friends. It's the teachers who are struggling to figure out how to teach virtually. Yesterday, I had the pleasure to present on the implementation of telehealth within our agency, and I can tell you that if you care about homelessness in our communities, you care about mental health. If you care about children, you care about mental health. If you care about economic development and resiliency within our workforce, you care about mental health. Yet it's one of the things that is overlooked the most. Our economic development, our businesses in our towns and our communities continue to reach out and say, I have employees that are coming to work. You heard Peter Franchot talk about the stress, the anxiety, and all that folks are carrying. And I say this to all of you today, we are all carrying it as well. And so while we're here today to talk about serving the community in our best capacity possible, I say to each of you that mental health and the stress and anxiety, whether you had the most pristine mental health 20 months ago, you felt something different, or perhaps you're continuing to feel something different today. We all felt the stress and anxiety. I said yesterday in my presentation, it never occurred to me as a single mom with a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old boy that I could run a company of 90 staff members from my kitchen while my kids did virtual school for an entire year. But we figured it out, and that's the thing about the resiliency and recovery that we currently are in. But if we can't continue to fund, and if we can't continue to provide the critical mental health services that people need, here's the thing. You can put everything in place. You can put the dollars in place. You can put the jobs in place. But if someone can't physically think about how to get from one step to the next and needs the ability to figure out how to work through the depression and anxiety and the unknowns that continue to happen with our pandemic, we will not be able to move our communities forward. The health of our community depends on everyone being served. I have the great pleasure of working with 90 staff members on our Eastern Shore. Our agency sees all folks regardless of ability to pay. It doesn't matter if they can make their copay. Because of places like RMC and RIMPIP and Mehrdorff, our agency has been fortunate enough to be able to implement programs that allow us to say to folks, it's not about what insurance you have, or if you have insurance, or whether you have a job or whether you don't have a job. Your mental health and the person-centered approach that we can provide for you is what matters most. This is a really difficult time for all of us. It continues to be a difficult time. Someone last week said to me, you know, the pandemic has really helped to flatten the mental health stigma and the curve that we've seen. And my response to them was, it really hasn't. The people that were struggling before the pandemic are struggling more. All of us that thought we were doing well have had a moment or continue to have moments where we didn't do well. And that is going to continue to happen because the only guarantee that we have right now with the pandemic is that we don't know what's coming. And the uncertainty and the confusion and the stress and the anxiety of the unknowns are something that we're not used to. We like to know the first day of school and the last day of school. We want to know when summer vacation begins and when summer vacation ends. Our brains are not set up to be in a space of unknown for as long as we have been. And so my hope is that as you think about the services that you're providing, you continue to talk to your staff about well-being, the health, the physical well-being of your team. Take time together to simply connect. Brené Brown says that what people are truly looking for is to be seen, heard, and valued. That water cooler conversation that we are so used to having to check in on one another isn't happening on Zoom as much. When you're asking someone, are you doing okay? Are you really sticking through for the answer? Because if you're like me, there are times I ask that question, and I'm so busy thinking about the kids, what they need, or the next meeting that I'm going to, or the next Zoom that I have to hop onto, that maybe I'm not sticking around to find out that someone's not doing okay. We have a suicide prevention campaign that we use all across the shore, and it's called No Matter What You Matter. It's 3 simple steps. Ask, listen, and share. Ask someone how they're doing. Stick around for the answer and listen to what they have to say. And here's the thing, you don't have to have all the answers. It's okay to hear from someone, I'm not doing well, I'm feeling suicidal, I don't know where to turn next. Because the beauty of the Ask, Listen, Share campaign is the share component is to share the resources. There are mental health professionals in all of your communities who are the qualified experts that can help you navigate that next step. So as you go through your holiday season, I encourage you to check in on one another. Send a text message to someone who you haven't talked to for a while. Just wanted to let you know I'm thinking of you. It is amazing how a simple message that takes less than 10 seconds to type can be something that might turn a person's day around. And maybe you're the person who's listening to me this morning and thinking, God, she's talking about me. I'm the one who's struggling. It's okay to reach out for help. It's okay to say to someone, I'm not doing okay, or can I have some of your time? Our responsibility as humans and as Marylanders is to take care of our community, to take care of our circle, and sometimes that means that we need to be taken care of too. Thank you so much for your time.